Hello, everyone. Welcome to another Bunker Underground. I am Finity, and I am joined by Delete and Mako. Say hi, guys.
What's up?
So,
What up?
little bit of a different start this time because I wanted to do something a little different today, just because of things that happened in the world. Um, Rather than me joking around and we'll get into the game, I did want to take maybe a 5 second moment of silence for I think it was 12 Marines in Afghanistan that unfortunately died to the Taliban attack earlier today, and the 15 that are injured. Hope everyone recovers well from that. But if we can, just wanted to take a quick moment of silence before we jump into games and hopefully having some fun tonight. So. All right. Yeah. Sometimes real world things happen, and I just want to make sure we address it, especially when it's something big like that. So, but with that, welcome guys to another Bunker Underground. If you're not familiar with what this is the live stream that follows State of Survival, a zombie base building game that has caused us both fun and panic at the same time. And one of the things that has been happening since I have been playing this game, and I started after Delete and Mako, but one of the things that was in this game that had bothered me for a while was the fact that Becca was maybe the most promoted character in this game. She even has her own HQ skin, and yet she was not playable. However, we actually have Becca in game now. So, interesting thing is because I had been busy, I hadn't had an opportunity to really click anything in game. So I went to the State Warfare, and there is text available for Becca. There's a story that is about to be told. We've done story time with Mako, okay? We are now going to do State Warfare. State Warfare story time. So I'm going to bring that up here on screen right now. We have Becca. Becca is on screen now. Do you guys see her? I know you guys will have to have the stream open. Actually, I can make it so you guys can see it in the stream if you want. Here. I think that works. Hold on. Did that work? No. Let me try this.
I typically pull up chat on my phone, so this way I can kind of keep tabs what's going on.
I gotcha.
If I'm not trying to get my dailies in, so I've got it there.
Mako, do you have the stream open? I'll put it wherever it's easiest.
At the moment, I do not.
Okay, I'll have it in Zoom here. Give me 1 second. Is that? Okay. Do you see it in the Zoom call?
Yes.
Okay, there we go. So first off, before we start reading this, I'm going to point out some things. But first, I want to shout out the people in chat. We have DJ Scrim here. How are you doing, DJ Scrim? That's a new name, I think, for me. So hello, DJ Scrim. Glad to have you here. Millsy is here. How are you doing, Millsy? We have Delete here. We need to ban him. Then we have and then we have Feminist Sexy Wolf here with the eyes watching, as always. How are you doing, Feminist Sexy Wolf? And so we are here to discuss Becca. Now, before I start reading the conversation that Becca is about to have and the story that is about to be told, I want you guys to look very closely at Becca. Because maybe this is just me. The first thing I noticed, she blinks every 3 seconds. Just watch. You'll see. She blinks every 3 seconds. It's like clockwork. She blinks every 3 seconds. Ready? Watch. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi.
I was going to go with the fact that she's got 2 belts on. I'm like the accessories there. And how old is that bandage?
Well, the funny thing is, on different images, that bandage like switches arms. I don't know what's going on.
Somebody in quality control just lost their job.
Oh my god. So funny.
Well, you look at that top belt. It's literally like the belt is holding her shirt down. So she's got a belt holding the shirt down and a belt holding the pants up.
Right. And I'm like, all right, what do you got in there? Is that a canteen? Doesn't look like she's got a gun.
How are you doing, Aerith? And then Eric B saying, I noticed other things first. Aerith, like, sure, that's what you're staring at. I am, honestly, the first thing I do look at is the eyes. Every single time. I always look at eyes. Afterwards, my eyes will start diverting. I'm not going to lie. But it starts off with the eyes. Because the eyes, to me, tell more about the person than anything else on their body. Just flat out. But that's just me. I'm weird. I'm odd. So I stared at Becca's eyes, and she was blinking every 3 seconds, and it creeped me out.
Durgan.
Durgan, right? Her eyes. It's true. It is true. But that's just me, and I'm odd. I'm a very odd person in general. But yeah, so... Yeah, I should get out of the way so you guys can see, like, the whole Becca thing here going on.
Becca and her satchels.
I don't understand. Yeah, she has, like, 2 belts, like, here. I don't know what. Eric B. Yeah, she has big old eyes. I can't.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Just reminds me of like Marvel comic books, you know, when it was always like Rogue or it was like, you know, the hourglass shapes that they used to kind of like,
Yeah,
you know? So, I don't know. Just.
Millsy, well, alrighty then. I mean, yeah, this is the quality entertainment you get from the Bunker Underground. This is the quality entertainment.
Venom's face.
Yeah.
Wait, see if I can do this right. Am I doing this right? No?
Yeah, you are.
Yes, I am.
Yeah, you are.
Venom's face all the way over there, just giving that smirk of like, yeah, this is what's
this
going
is what
on.
happens when the boys are left alone. That's pretty much exactly what it is.
Yeah,
you can see her
Sam. Classic.
Yeah, McVenom is just gonna like pop in here one day and just start yelling at me like, "What did you? Oh, sorry. What did you do to my stream?" I'm gonna die for that too. Okay, so we're gonna read the story here that Becca is telling because she's telling a story. Now, Mako, we're gonna rely on you a little bit to give us some context whenever there's a question. Okay, we're gonna put you on the spot here, so I hope you're ready. So Becca starts out by saying, "Oh no, I'm gonna read it. Delete. You don't have to necessarily leave the text. You can."
Yeah, but if anyone wants to read it on stream, I can. You know, they can go ahead without my big head in the way.
Okay, so Gigacorp deceived us. Their special RA13 medicine is fake and has disastrous side effects. We have to unite against Gigacorp. So we'll jump to Mako. Mako, what is the RA13 medicine?
RA13 was the vaccine that Gigacorp turned out was going to cure the sickness.
I remember that.
Yeah. Bunch of people aren't down with the sickness.
Oh, okay. I would so go on a tangent with that.
I saw a really funny meme about how to pronounce quinoa, and it was keen, and then yeah, it's awesome. Hit on so many levels for me.
Back when Twitch Sings was actually a thing, I am going on a little bit of a tangent here. I actually sang that song because Twitch Sings is basically like a karaoke stream thing. So I sang that song on stream. What I forgot was the talking part at the end of that song. Which, if you don't recall, is literally about him getting beaten by his mother and cursing her out. And I completely forgot that. So I am doing Twitch Sings for Down with the Sickness and then get to that part and start reading it. And I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm reading this. I'm reading every awful thing about him getting beaten by his mother.
That's when you drop the mic. You just got to drop the mic.
Oh, I just went with it, dude. Once I'm there, I'm just going to own it. At that point, it's just I take
Because
it.
everyone was probably with you, and they're like, "Oh, I remember this song. This song used to hit so hard." And then it was just like, "Oh, that's right. I remember this part of the song. This is when I hit skip."
I know. It is. It's one of those songs if that's how you hit skip. But when Finn starts to actually sing it, everyone starts cracking up in chat. So okay. So we're going to the next one now. Let's see who Becca is going to talk to. It is Dr. Yamazaki. And he says, I need to know more about this medicine. It'll be hidden in Gigacorp's Pharmaceutical Research Institute. I might be able to reverse engineer it and develop something useful. So he is trying to work on something extra. It is nice to see Colonel Sanders on our side. Gonna go to the next one here. Then Becca, Gigacorp's actions have enraged the other factions. Everyone is aiming for the Pharmaceutical Research Institute. This is going to be the battle of our lives. So, Mako, there is the last hope, right? There's Gigacorp, and the other faction is
The Raiders.
the Raiders.
And
there's
the Holy
a
Wrath.
fourth one. What was the other one?
Yes. The Holy Wrath.
Holy Wrath. Okay, there. Oh yeah, the Holy Wrath is the new one with the.
Wasn't Rusty? Rusty was a raider.
Rusty used to be a Raider.
Yeah.
And then he got out of there. What is it for? He disagreed with something they did, and he broke out of the faction.
Eric B saying anyone else keep buffering? Hopefully not. I think my connection is actually clean right now. I'm not seeing any issues on my side. Let me know if you guys are buffering. Everything seems to be okay on my side.
That might have just been me. We got another nasty storm rolling through this week.
But Eric B is saying he got it too. So let me know if you guys are buffering. It seems like mine is okay. It hasn't been giving me any issues, but okay. Millsy's saying he's good. Yeah. If it is, let me know and I will try to see if I can figure out. But so far, cross my fingers, it's been okay. So, okay. So then Sarge comes into the picture now. Sarge just comes out. Let's see. Sarge is also on a 3-second blink timer. Just I just realized that. It's just like you stare at him and he loses a blink. As long as you can stare for 3 seconds, you can beat them in a staring contest. That's something that you can be aware of. Hello, Dr. Feelgood. Yes, clean is clean is questionable when Finn is streaming and talking about how he was yelling about his mother beating him with a Disturbed song. And when we were staring at Becca's eyes. Clean is definitely a matter of perspective. All right. So Sarge comes along and says, oh, go ahead, delete.
No, I was just going to say, I remember when Street Fighter 2 came out, because that was the first, wow, this is really good graphics.
Mm-hmm.
This is cutting edge stuff. And it was the character screen was just
oh, yeah.
And the guy's moving around. And you know how hard it is to actually do that for a period of time?
Mm-hmm.
It is so uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
It is literally extremely uncomfortable to have your, you're just the breasts and the shoulders and the arms, and they've never gone away from it. They've never gone away. Even Sarge, he's just he's breathing with his entire body and blinking.
Oh,
just
delete.
Burning calories.
Look to your right. Look to your right, and you do it, and I'll do it. And Mako, you can then be our fight judge. We're gonna get this going.
Oh, maybe I'll go old timey.
Put him.
Round one.
It's gotta have the random jerk in it. It can't be smooth. It's gotta be
I know.
The record player's just hitting that bump.
I think Mako called it to fight.
Oh.
Hadouken!
About one of these. Oh, yeah, totally. You just can't block that.
I gotta do that. Oh, hold on. I have to move my chair a little bit. Okay, here we go. Chun-Li kick.
And I'm dead.
And then of course the E Honda, the hot.
Oh.
my
so
god.
great.
Okay.
So great.
Oh my god, we need a State of Survival side scroller. This is what this is making me want. Okay, I apologize for that. We're going off on tangents. I'm sorry. I can't even tell a story without going on tangents. Thank you, Mako, for refereeing that fight.
Well done.
All right. So Sarge says, as long as we stay on track to become the most powerful group, everything will shake out all right. Okay. And then it goes into matching. So there we go. So somehow that story is leading us to fight other states. That was the story that comes up with state warfare.
What week are you guys on? What do you get? What's it? Migo.
I have no idea. How much do we have left? We have 16 days left.
So that little story blurb right there is for the last 2 weeks of Migo.
Mm-hmm.
And then you'll get a new one with the next state v state for the Yith.
I just don't understand why that's tied to SVS. Like, it's a whole story about finding the vaccine and stopping. I'm like, okay, the storyline is cool. And then he says, we have to be the most powerful group. And then it puts us in SVS.
I think it's a reference to the different factions and each state being a faction.
That makes it even more weirder. Because then we have stated sub-factions of the other... that just becomes... Okay. You know what? I'm just going to go... Okay, we're going to select that. Sorry. I'm just doing lucky card now.
Oh.
We've done this before. So now we did the story. Okay, here we go. This one. Okay, we got some wood. This one. And this one. And this one.
Oh, yeah.
I got like crap. I just got crap everywhere. Just straight up crap everywhere. All right.
Yeah.
Durgan, question. Is the McVenom event coming back to the game, or have they permanently removed it? The McVenom event? I don't remember what the McVenom event is. What is the McVenom event, Durgan? I am completely missing what the McVenom event is. So what I'll also do is, just for science experiment, before we talk about Becca, because I think Becca was showing up in my heroes list, right? She shows up in my... Did you guys unlock Becca? No, there's no Becca yet. Wait, who is this one?
Who is that?
Nanami? When did we get a purple hero?
That is to celebrate the Japan release, and she wasn't supposed to be available in all states.
Well, apparently we have Nanami now, who is a gatherer of all kinds. What is she gatherer for? Wood gathering. So she's another wood gathering hero.
She's trying to take Chef's job.
Why
They cook
is
something better than a hamburger.
Why does like
Pretty
every
crazy.
Asian female in this game have like a short skirt? Like every single one. Nanami. Like they're all dressed up as like a sailor. Just every time. Sorry, I hadn't seen her before.
Maybe they're gonna make 2 more and we'll have a whole Sailor Moon team. All 5.
Sailor Nanami.
That's solid.
Sailor Candy.
Solid thought right there.
And that, for any kids who are watching the stream, is a show that was on when we were kids.
Mm-hmm. It's true.
Very popular.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, look at that. Aerith has her.
Eric has her? Oh yeah, Aerith has her.
Yeah.
Aerith has her in 777 and in 500. Where is she gotten from? Is she a map? Is she in the map releases? She is?
I haven't gotten her though, but I just spent I think like 130 maps before
Yeah, she is. She's in
she
there.
was supposed to be available.
Screw it. I'm going to try and unlock her. I don't even care. I'm going to try and unlock her right now. Let's see. I have like 98 maps. Let me see. How many do I have? Yeah, I don't care about the event. Let me see. What is there here? Is there what does Power Sprint have anything? No, Power Sprint doesn't have anything with maps.
No.
Oh, we just missed the one in our state.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll wait. I'll be good. I'll wait. We have another science experiment stuff. Durgan, the event is aka she runs off in the woods forever, or she's still busy with stuff. She is busy with life because her kids are now doing events, school is back, she's working, so it has been a hectic time. So yes, she is still busy. She will join when she can. But in the meantime, let's go over here cuz I'm going to do an experiment, Mako. I talked about this before. My rate of acquisition of plasma is horrendous. It's just truly horrendous. I don't get 2 even most of the time. So normally, if I didn't hit that 3 all the time, I could have gotten 2 for every single one and gotten 10 a day, right? So we're gonna see how many I get in this Purify. So are you ready? Are you ready for this?
Why don't you just bang out +4s right now?
Just because I'm on stream. Okay, we start off with a +2. I'm at 3. That's more than I got in the last few times. We got 2 more, so we're at 5. Just 1, so 6. Just 1, so 7. And I need to use some gas. Okay. And just 1.
Ouch.
So we got 8.
Yeah, that's not great.
It's
That's
awful.
not great.
I guess this isn't the time to say I just got a +4 before stream. So
This thing is awful. I swear. The fact
feel
that
like
you
the
get
drop rate-
less all the time. I get consistently that amount too, by the way. The last time I did it, I didn't even get a 3. I got the 1 and I got 1, 2 plus 2. No, I got 1 plus 1 and the rest of them were all 1s. It's awful. No. I'm not doing the polymer one. Polymer, I only do the discounted one because I still need my regular plasma. So I only do the discounted one for 10 plasma and then that's it. So I don't do a lot of the polymer one. But this one I do every single time.
Crazy. Oh,
Yeah.
it's so crazy.
I
think
can't afford it.
I'm a little less than halfway through my polymer research, or like the once you are like maxed at 8-star, and you can do the other like research tree. I'm like halfway, and it's I refuse to spend 100 plasma for it because the drop rate is so awful.
Yeah.
It's awful. So far I've burned through 20,000 in plasma to get to halfway from maxed 5-star to 8-star.
Wow.
And it's torture. It's torture.
Yeah. It is. Yeah. It's just. Yeah. Polymer, and yeah, if you're not at the point where like all your research and stuff with normal plasma is max, you're like barely touching it. You're accumulating the polymer, but you're just kind of leaving it for now because plasma has too much value. And at the rate I'm acquiring it, I'm losing plasma every day from that machine. I gain it back from the dailies, but from that machine, I'm gaining less than 10, and then I'm spending 10 for a single polymer. So it's awful. I hate that thing. I hate that thing so much. I wish they would just give me the option to just go back to that bar thing with the calibration. I don't care enough for it to be automated. So it kind of sucks. The fact that you did well on that game actually kind of screws you. Well, at least screws me. Mako's apparently hitting 4s all the time.
yeah, I had it was just after Capital, and I got 2 +4s in a row on the next day on Sunday.
Ah, nice.
No, I get robbed in that. I get robbed. It's just I do it just because, you know. I've got so much materials to burn that it doesn't even matter. So I do it. But I think I've gotten 12 once. You know, out of it, I usually probably average around 7 or 8. You know, it was a while where I was like, I haven't even gotten a +3. You know, where you're getting like 6. It's awful. It's awful. And there are probably people out there that are like, yeah, I average 15. this is great. Sucks. The randomization on those types of things I always found was awful. Just like when you're going for a skin event and you're using the things, and sometimes it says +10 or +1, +2, +3, and you're like, wait, man, like it should be a 1-to-1 kind of ratio.
It's like every 5 you get a ×2, every 20 is a ×3. Yeah,
that's how it should be. It should be more standardized, not luck of the draw, because especially when it's something like that, where I've seen races to get into the top 10 where like it's like 6 to like that you missed out by, and that could just literally be a couple of those +3s and +2s. That's awful.
Well, the worst part is that the initial part of it is not like RNG, right? The initial part is the skill where you're learning how to use the actual like meter. Once that's done, then everything is RNG. So it feels worse. Not only the fact that like you lose an RNG, that happens in some games, but the fact that it forced you from a skill base to a random base, and that's what's screwing you. The fact that you actually did well on the skills base is what's screwing you with RNG. That I think is the worst part. But yeah, Eric, stop bragging. Just Eric is saying I got 2 +4s and an X3. You got an X4 or 2 X4s and an X3. I was pretty stoked. No, stop bragging. Just stop bragging.
Yeah, it's awful. Stuff like that. The random is awful. My old game was Marvel Contest of Champions, and there was like a crystal. It was like an anniversary event, and you could get Thanos, who was pretty badass in the game, which rightfully so. He's pretty damn strong.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a person that didn't look like they'd been playing the game for like 2 weeks, and they had him, and it was just like, what? And that was a game that like so much spending. It was like an incredible, just like it's like Swaga, where it's a 1-to-1 fighting where you're just fighting the computer. But it was just like, wait, what? This person is literally just started playing, has one of the strongest characters in the game, and it was just like, yeah, that's awful.
Yep.
That is awful.
Yeah, Millsy, I'm with you. I'm lucky to get a +1 lately too, as you saw. But yeah, so I figured I'd do that as a science before we jump into some of the stuff going on. And a lot of the stuff actually is not happening directly in the game. It's happening on the Discord. So I'll fill you guys in on some of that. But just to check, have you guys haven't gotten Becca yet in game, right? Or have you? No. Okay. So Becca has 3 new abilities. I haven't really seen anything more than that. If you guys have, you can let everyone know. I've only seen what her new abilities are going to be. And they are, once it loads up here, but it's in the PTR. And it was supposed to be that you can accumulate them during their anniversary. So I just wanted to make sure they weren't anywhere else. But once this it's taking forever. Okay, so she has 3 abilities. Her abilities are going to be Raid, Explosive Bullet, and Killer Instinct. So those are her 3 new abilities. But in terms of details and stuff, I don't really have anything more than that. They just said she's going to be a legendary hero. She will be... So she has some interesting effects, though. So her effects are a max level Becca will be able to increase construction speed by 25% while she's in the base. So she's one of these heroes that you need to keep in the base. She will increase construction speed by 25%. She will reduce construction resource consumption by 10% and reduce troop training resources by 5%. So she is a hero that you basically just like leave in your base. The only thing is, and this is possibly going to be something that's going to be annoying based on how they do it. If she is a new hero, chances are she's going to have one of the higher powers in the game if trends are continuing, right? And that means that she will likely go with whatever your first march is if you're auto marching. So if you're like sending out things to go gather resources or something like that, she's probably going to be in the first one if you actually do have her maxed out. So it's going to make it difficult to keep Becca in the base. Like the only way to actually keep her in the base is to send her off maybe in a settlement first or an encampment, and then send out everything and then bring her back and then force remove her. But I worry that even though I really like kind of the concept behind this, I worry logistically of the fact that she's going to be auto set to go out places when you don't want her to be auto set. But I don't know what you guys think. That was one thing that just struck me about her abilities when I had read that.
I wonder what they're gonna do. Is she gonna be a punchy, stabby, or shooty?
They say. Let me see. She's skilled in hand-to-hand combat, so my thought is she's gonna be a punchy, but I don't know. They didn't really say. I didn't see a symbol or anything on there. My initial thought is a punchy. Well, she could be anything. She's uniquely skilled at rock climbing, marksmanship, and hand-to-hand combat.
Interesting.
Maybe they're gonna start rolling out a new type of hero where you can set marches with like they're all 3 types, so you can pick and choose where you want them. Maybe
that would be kind of cool. Eric is saying in PTR they said she works outside too. So if that's the case, that's going to be different because in their post specifically, it says as long as Becca is located in your settlement, her development bonus will take effect. So it is saying at least in their post, it specifically says in the settlement. If maybe they changed it because of that reason in PTR, that they're like, okay, as long as you have Becca, you get the effects on your overall settlement, then that would be different than what they posted, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's just different. But I don't see what kind of hero Becca is.
I wonder. I wonder if they're going to continue that trend and just have heroes that are specific to certain things like that. You know, like if they're going to keep like expanding on that tree. But I thought Becca was going to come as the 3rd blue hero. and just do it that way, but no. The fact that she's legendary is pretty crazy. But I mean, I guess if they're having all the hype and they want people to kind of go after her event-wise, then it probably does make sense.
Yeah. Although for a blue hero, I think people would still go after her, but the problem is people have so many of those general blue frags that she's going to be maxed out pretty quick, so they're not going to try to give it away that easy.
And I wonder how much you have to do to, like, you know, do you have to rank her up in order to get those? Because, you know, she probably won't, skill-wise, she probably won't even have, she probably won't be, like, the best in, like, a building or for a tower or something like that, or an attack, unless her percentages are solid.
Right, which is what the trend is with the new heroes, right? And that's what my worry is. If she is one of those top heroes, it's just going to be difficult from a logistics standpoint to not have her auto go with anything. But then the other part is she's going to be so freaking useful with everything. Like, you're never going to want to send her out.
Right. You just got to be very careful when you do send her out to, like, you know, monitor what you're doing, you know, if you do send her out.
And there's already that issue in the game, right? With the wall heroes. Like, you can, the wall heroes, they just go out. Like, you can't isolate the wall heroes to just the wall so they can't be moved. I wish there was a way you could lock them onto the wall so they never go. But they don't have that, so you're kind of left to the randomness. Millsy saying, I doubt they give her the ability to be a top hero. I mean, if there was any hero that should be the top hero in the game, is basically Becca. Because she basically, like, runs everything. Like, if anyone was going to have the abilities to kind of be like a queen in this game, it would be Becca. She's, I mean, who else is promoted as being as awesome as she is?
Yamazaki.
Yeah,
that's true. We could get a
at least in Yith, he's like the end all be all because he's the scientist.
I mean, that could be cool if he follows maybe like a Trish kind of model and becomes like a scientist in the game, maybe like a marksman or something like that. That would be cool. But Yamazaki, Becca, I mean, those are like the main ones. It actually makes me sad that Sarge is so low, given how much of he's like supposed to be in this game.
Well, he was originally the main character. Like, that's who you were supposed to be playing as.
Mm-hmm. And now he's like basically useless. he's one of the easier heroes to get up to general, but outside of that, like he is basically a useless hero.
Yeah.
It's sad. Poor Sarge. I mean, even Rusty and Ghost have more of a use than Sarge later game.
It's weird to think that Becca's going to be a top hero though, because they've only had. It's never been like a choice. You've never had 4 really strong heroes. You've always only had 3. That match percentage wise. And being that we just got the newest. Grim, Magnus, and
Sting.
Can't remember the other one.
Tardini.
Oh.
Yes. Being that we just got those 3, I can't imagine them, going ahead and either bumping one of them down or.
Well, that's what I'm thinking could be the coolest part about this, though. What if she has all 3 tags? So then it's an experiment on what it's 4 of them, right? But do you put her in infantry? Do you put her like in the punchy spot? Do you put her in the shooty spot? Do you put her in the stabby spot? Do you drop the other one down? I mean, I think that if they actually do that, I feel like that's actually pretty interesting to see, like how people put Becca in their roster, like in their squad lineup as the heroes. Like, do you send Becca as the infantry? Like, is that maybe Becca is better as infantry for trap, but is better as like shooty for like capital or whatever it is. Maybe she moves around and you have different benefits for different spots. I think that could be a pretty neat concept that they don't have in this game right now. Because right now, like you said, they're introducing 3 heroes at a time for each tier, right? This would help kind of break that to provide something different where they can release a hero maybe one at a time and not in a series of 3 and give themselves some flexibility.
Well, I know Eric B just put in the chat about free to play finally having another attack hero. I mean, honestly, if she's a triple threat, you're looking at whenever they bring out 3 new heroes, one of them is always survival of the fittest. Free to players aren't winning that in the late stage of the game, so that hero is really hard to come by. So if you got Ray's place, which is how I get most of my legendaries when I was first starting out, and then the value vouchers, there's 2. If she can fill that 3rd spot at the same percentage, I mean, there you go. There's another free to play have a full set finally.
Yeah. I mean, they did say that her frags were going to be available through the anniversary, through different contests and stuff. If the contests end up being just pay to win, basically, it's going to be difficult for free to play. So we'll have to see. Hopefully they are somewhat readily available to free to play. Maybe not get her all the way up to even like Colonel or anything like that. But
if they just switched her out for Maddie in the epic search crates, that would be awesome.
Oh, hell yeah.
I mean, at least you have a chance of getting her. I mean, yeah, it might take 3 or 4 months of searches to do that, but you're going to be able to at least have a reliable way of getting a legendary hero that's actually worth something.
Yeah. Maddie and Nicola are getting old. It's the only ones in there. So, no, that's true. So that would be kind of cool too. So, so that's it right now about Becca. Anything else to lead?
Apparently the anniversary of that is supposed to be like heavily pay to like even get close. It's apparently it's like an astronomical number. Even like the skin store. I mean, a skin store, they want $1,000 for the skin. That's an impressive amount. And even like I'm a skin chaser and I saw one that was there and I was just like, I don't think I'm doing that. I'm not pulling the trigger on that. There's way too much going on in the game that's making me like maybe I shouldn't. I'm kind of waiting. Frankly, it's a wait till October. It's really a wait till October to find out like what the hell is going on. I mean, because it's like I was like, in all the res raids that we do, I'm the strongest base that I've seen in res raid. With my overall attack numbers and my top, when I'm going at somebody and they're the other top player, like I'm probably, I'd say the closest I've seen is 8%. That's as close as someone's come. And that's 4 skins, like, so I was like, I don't see how that's worth the investment whatsoever.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I just don't see that making sense. I'm going after this one in the skin event right now, and there's a couple people that are surprisingly like just turned it on. We have 3 people right now that are like up there. It's what are we? We're halfway through, a little bit more than halfway through, and people are already at the top players at like 14,000, 12,000.
Wow.
Like we've got 3 people over 11,000 points right now, and I'm like, wow. Luckily it's like 10th place is still like 5,000. So I'll just kind of try and sneak in there, because I can't even imagine. I think it's just
saying they got someone at 17K already. Damn.
Wow. I would doubt that the people in 125. I mean, typically, so the way I do it is I go ahead and just go to 4,000, right? And then I don't go past that until the event's over, because I don't want anyone chasing me down. I don't want to give away any of my secrets, of like where I'm at, because that's burned me in the past, where it's like I create spending, by me putting the high number out there. It's like people just kind of go, oh, I want to bump down delete, and it's like, dude, I'm not in it to beat you. So it's crazy. So I usually don't spend, but I wouldn't doubt that the people that are up there have some extra coins in the bank, to kind of go ahead and push that pedal to even crank it up even more.
Right. I know Millsy mentioned it in the chat, but since this anniversary event is spender hungry, make sure you're pre-registering. You get that 30 free tickets. I mean, it's gonna be worth it for anybody who's not gonna go balls to the wall spending.
And it's what you just have to give your like cell phone number or something, right?
You get a cell phone number, and then they give you a code, and you just input the code. And I know sometimes, like the first time I did it, because I used my cell number, and it wasn't copying and pasting for me, and got really upset. So I was like, all right, I'm just done with this. And then somebody in our Discord told me that you just gotta copy it a couple times, and then finally it'll paste in there. So I went in there, I used my wife's cell phone number to get the second code. So
you didn't hear that. It's fine. Everything.
There was something like, well, the last time I looked at the pre-register event, it was over 790,000 people. It's like, wow. I mean, I doubt that's all uniques, but still. Yeah, I had to. I did it off of because I got the email about it, and then I clicked into it that way, and then I just typed it in. I didn't even cut and paste it. I just typed it in from the email.
Oh yeah, I was on my phone, so I was able to copy and paste it pretty easy. So I did mine. So that's some of the new stuff coming in. The other thing that has been kind of the talk around the Discord and everything right now is red hero gear. So it looks like, and Mako's face kind of just told it all right. Red hero gear is coming. So that is not, I don't know. You guys are farther along than me. Every time they come out with a new gear, as a free to play, I always just feel so far behind, but that's natural. Like I'm not paying to keep up. But delete red hero gear. Too early, too late, or the right time for it to come out?
I mean, it kind of fits the timeline that they've been doing everything. First it was Chief Gear, then it was 8 Plasma, then it's going to be Red Hero Gear, and then sure enough, I mean, you're going to need a new badges. You're going to have to go ahead and get more badges and berets to kind of keep that going too. That's just the way it's going, and it's insane because, I was like, I'm still in the top. I would have to say I'm still in the top 3% of bases overall, and that leaves a lot of people that aren't anywhere close to touching my base. You know, the only thing that I haven't done yet is gone to a billion BP, just because I've done some stupid stuff. You know, I attacked someone as a test to find out like what it would take. Then I found out after that when I went to go attack that person, I lost, let's see, what did I lose? I lost 70 million BP. They lost the same amount, but they lost a lot more in troops, like a lot more in troops. But the reason why I came back and was so successful is I found out they had 4 marches out. You know, to lose troops, they had like sent rallies out. So all their troops weren't at the base. So it wasn't like a pure test, you know, but it was still, you know, something to kind of see, like how, you know, how many times do I have to lose before I start to win when I'm attacking a base, which was a 5-star at the time. So I guess they're trying to institute that where, you know, even if someone has a tremendous amount of more troops than you do, you know, maybe the gear will kind of counteract that. So, you know, you can be a true tyrant if you're a max player again, but I don't know how much of a draw that is to many people, because the losses you take for doing it don't basically, you know, don't really matter much for starting a fire in somebody else's base in an old state. So I don't know. I don't think I'm going to be, I don't know if I'm going to run after it. I know I have a lot of gear. I have a lot of excess gear from just stocking up and just not needing it for so long. So we'll see what it'll take in extra funds for me to do it. But right now it's kind of probably a coin flip whether I do it or not.
Yeah. Mako, what do you think?
To reference Brad Pitt, there are max players, there are 8-stars, there are gold heroes, and there's 10 feet of crap, and then there's free to play right now. I mean, you keep piling stuff on. I mean, I'm struggling. I spent 29, almost 3,000 plasma in the last Survival of the Fittest. I spent through 784 hero gear maps. I spent 924 chief gear designs. I spent probably 85 hours worth of research speed ups, probably 90 hours of troop speed ups, and I only got 7th place in Survival of the Fittest. Like, now you're going to add more crap on with how little you get in return. I mean, trap is 2 days a week and you get maybe 40, 45 designs. And I'm looking at 70 designs for 1 upgrade in hero gear right now. I mean, that's 4 days right there just to get one piece of gear leveled up. I get it. People who have already maxed out need something to keep them entertained with this game. And this is how you do it. You give them more stuff that makes them stronger and better and easier destroyable for other people. So as a free to play, it sucks and it's very disheartening because I'm not even sniffing gold hero gear right now, let alone even thinking about red gear, and they're going to bring it out and it's going to be okay. I'm not even now purple, right? I just got to my first purple when I dropped those 700 hero gear designs because I've been saving up.
Yeah.
But yeah, now my 5-star base is going to get soloed by a 7-star because he's got so much better gear, red chief gear, red hero gear. I mean, it's ridiculous on my end at least. But from a business standpoint, I mean, kudos. That's what you need to do to make money.
Yeah, I feel like for someone that's starting the game right now, I feel like they pushed the finish line too far. You know, I think they've pushed. I think they're starting to get to the point where they're just pushing the finish line too far for a tremendous amount of people. And frankly, you know, the game hasn't warranted it. It really hasn't. You know, the updates, you know, the fact that it's a multi-game where different people are playing different games. Now Japan has a different hero than other people are even allowed to get. There's so many variances from start to finish, and the fact that like if you're in an older state, you've been forgotten about. The gameplay in the older states with things never changing with fortresses, and the rewards never really kind of being okay, and even the events that used to kind of give you a peak into like accelerating those rewards have gone away or decreased. The switches in Plasma Lab, the changes that they've instituted haven't necessarily been smart changes for 80% of the people that play the game.
Yeah.
It's a lot. I guess they feel like, hey, we're leaving money on the table. We're leaving money on the table, and there people would, hey, does this, it started off where it's like, all right, maybe this is a $5,000 game that people kind of go into. All right, maybe it's an 8, maybe it's a 12, maybe it's a 15. Like they keep pushing the number back to where it's like the investment is significantly higher. And the gameplay isn't there to be there.
Yeah.
So and they kind of force you in. Once you feel like, like I don't personally feel this way. I feel like I could drop SOS tomorrow, and I wouldn't be like, oh, that was a waste. Because I enjoy playing the game. It's not, I don't look at it as like a situation where it's like, like, oh, I have to keep spending because I've already spent. I don't look at it that way, and I know a lot of people do. A lot of people do. They're like, oh, I bought, a $15,000 car. I got to put another $400 into it to keep it running. Like then you keep saying that. Next thing you're in a deeper and deeper hole. That's a mobile games trap right there. But I don't feel like I do feel like I could just be like, I'd still do the show. I'd still play. I'd be a max space free to play. See how long my max space actually lasts.
That is inherently like not max base free to play. There's a problem in that. Just no.
But I do wonder. I mean, the game is at the point where it's like every 3 months, they're asking you to increase your investment to stay a max player. So how long, if I just stop spending right now, how long would it take for me to no longer be relevant?
I mean I can't blame them though, because it seems like even on the older servers, right? As soon as the new heroes come out, right? Or new gear comes out, new chief gear, chief badges, hero gear, whatever it is, there's usually somewhere between like 3 to 10 people on every server that is going to try and max out. Like they're just going to max out because they're like the most competitive in their states. So if there's like 700 states, and there's more than 700 because I think Aerith said she was in 777, so it's probably like 800 or something states right now. But if there's 800 states and there is at least like 5 people on average that is willing to pay, that's 4,000 people that are willing to pay a few $100 in order to just get whatever the newest thing is. And that's not including the people that'll just buy little things in order to improve different parts of their bases, not fully. You will have about 4,000 people minimum probably that is going to try and max out their base fully as soon as these things come out. So, I mean, I don't blame them for their strategy. You're right that this is basically on their same cadence, right? The release of this hero gear is on their same cadence. They're probably looking at the very cream of the crop. They're seeing how many people have maxed out their different gears, and they're like, okay, we went from having 0.5% to having like 1% of our. It's going to be less than that for sure, but if they say we went from like 0.5 to 1% having the max, they're probably like, okay, now is the time that we boost it again because we've hit that threshold. Let's boost it and have them see who's going to be able to max out, and everybody else can work towards it like always. And it's a model that has worked for them, and it's a model that continues to have people pay for them. But I think you brought up the earliest thing or the biggest thing earlier, October. state migration, when that actually starts, is probably going to have the biggest impact on everything. So I think right now everyone is holding hope that the state migration or the state merger, whatever it is going to be okay to the point where everyone's going to get maybe reinvigorated in the game. So they're cautiously optimistic right now.
Yeah.
But
October there were a lot of people out there.
Boom or boon for them.
Yeah. I mean, there are a lot of people out there that are looking at either, and someone reached out to me and they were like, hey, man, when are you selling your base? And are you going to take your logo with you? I was just like, wait, what? I was like, I don't think I'd ever sell my base. And, I do think that a lot of people that do max out, or like are people that are like taking over bases that weren't theirs, so then it's like, hey, you want to play this game? You could be a max player for $1,000 compared to the, Jesus, I don't even know what the overall number is where I'm at. I don't even really want to know, to be quite honest with you, but to be that person, like, oh, all right, yeah, man, that's pretty solid. Yeah, I'd probably do that. Like I think that's a lot of the people that are maxing out. A bunch of the top players when like Daedric was on and, Scorn, Silverwolf, I mean, a lot of those people have basically just moved on from their accounts, and it's not necessarily new money. It's not necessarily someone going start from finish, like someone going in and being like, hey, I just started this base. Let me go ahead and get it all the way up. I think it's like, who wants to sell this base in this server, and all right, cool, I'll take it, and it's just like, perfect. There's an alliance in our state that's literally, half the people that were there aren't even the same people anymore. They've been trading off people left and right, which is kind of insane, but it's just been happening.
Yeah, Millsy's saying. October's going to be big, and Millsy's saying, I do got to say, it's all about the money, right? We lost the biggest player in our state because of the nonstop spend grind. So yeah, that is a part of it, and that's why October becomes so big, because especially in the older states, it's not just about the grind, it's about what are you doing the grind for? Is there a value to it? And are you just competing against the same people over and over again? Like, is it just getting boring where it's just a spend competition? Or are you spending in order to produce results that otherwise you wouldn't? Is it something new? Is it something fresh? So when you're asking that, I would say it's probably like 70% about the money, because they need the money in order to continue their servers, to continue paying their employees, to continue development. Like, it's the fact of any game. It is a business, regardless of what we do with it. It's still a business, but then the rest of it is probably how enjoyable is the game, because that's what keeps players engaged, promoting it, making videos, whatever it is. That is the other portion of it. So that's why October becomes so big, because right now that 30% is dwindling, right? There's players that are, especially in the older states, like you're saying, the 1 through 100. And I think it's more than that. I think Delete, your guys' state was included in like the first groups. I think it might have been up to 150 or something like that. But it's not all states. But if that state is able to be reinvigorated, that's hope for all the other states, right? That'll help to stop some of that bleeding of that 30%, which is like the part that is based on enjoyment and the ability to play and gain something out of what they're spending. But if they fail in October, that is a huge boost, like a huge drop. Right now, if you assume like a total grade, right? Let's say they're making their money. So let's assume they have all 70%, because they're definitely making money on this game. New states and all of that, they are capitalizing on it. But if that 30% is already down to, let's say, 20%, right? They're already at like a 90% grade. You're at like an A-, a B+. If they lose all that 30% because they can't even deliver on their migration, which they boosted as October and stuff, that 30% is probably going to drop to like 5%. Now you're in like a C. You're at 75%. That's going to start dropping now, that 70%, because now people aren't going to spend as much. It's going to hit that capital. So it's going to be a chain effect. So October is huge for this game. Like,
yeah, that's when you see, like, when you go to download a game and you're like, oh, let me check out the reviews. And it's like, it's a complete money grab. And and like the game stopped working after a year and a half, or it's not worth it, don't spend this time, like that's when like the bell curve, just goes straight downhill, is when people start to quit your game more than people start to pick it up.
Yeah.
Like when people are like, oh yeah, it's cool, it's a cool game for like 8 months, and then it's awful. I mean, that's when the things really do drastically change. And I will say, all because they put it out doesn't mean you have to buy it. Like Res Raid is still the number one feature in this game. The rewards aren't really whatever, but the rewards and basically every single event in this game are kind of like me. Fortress, state for state. So like, if you don't want to win, SBS and bunkers and facilities and stuff like that, and you just want to play Res Raid, you're always going to be matched with a team that's kind of in your realm. Even though I think our last like 5 matches SBS have been, or Res Raid, have been awful. I think part of that's because we're still trying to game the system where it's like we only register 21 people and we're going against 30 every time, which is not a great experience.
Yeah.
But that's just due to the fact that like, the people that play in 125 are just becoming less and less. We don't have 40 people on ever, at the same time. It just never happens anymore. We probably average about 16, 25, somewhere in there. So it's a much drastic, it's a different way of life. I remember when I first joined law, it was like, it was people on all the time. I mean, we were like 80 strong. It was like, wow,
Yeah.
Now, hey, a couple people get zeroed, or next thing you know, it's like, hey, real life happened, or I gotta stop because of this, and it's real life tends to happen to people, especially when I picked up this game during the pandemic. This is a pandemic game for me, so I went from a time where I can log in all the damn time and play whenever I wanted to where it's like, wow, now I'm actually back to work, and then it's like, weekends are family life, like stuff's opened back up again, so it's a completely different thing. So I think that's been like the major cause of, hey, we're not doing, SBS for 24 hours anymore. We're not doing it for 12 hours. They see the dwindling amount of activity.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will say, Eric B, up to 30, the game was really fun.
Yeah.
Like really fun, up to 30. And when Plasma came out, it was like, all right, the divide's really big.
That's what I want to say is the difference. It's not necessarily that it's fun up until HQ 30. It is fun in a state that doesn't have Plasma yet. Because you can start in an older state, right? Like I could go into 125. My 1 through 30 is not going to be enjoyable. It's literally in that state intel phase where you're actually like working with your state. You're working towards Plasma. Like that was honestly the most fun part of the game. Like as a free to play at that time, and Mako, you can let me know if yours was like kind of the same. You were never going to be the top, but you felt like you could be competitive. Even in like survival of the fittest and all of that, like you felt like you could kind of keep up. I was able to be in the top 50 consistently for like every survival of the fittest while I was like in that phase. And that was great for my base because I was getting more resources than other free-to-play. So I could see myself separating from the other free-to-play. I was falling behind the spenders, but I was kind of keeping up that I could keep my base useful for everything. As soon as Plasma came out, it was over. Like my base was just so far behind, I was basically useless. Like I was only there to honestly just be a timer click. That was it. Because my troops weren't high enough to really be that competitive. My gear wasn't, my stats weren't, everything was so far behind, I couldn't even keep up with that. I wasn't accumulating the resources fast enough to even try to keep up with that. So it really was until Plasma was released in the state, it was really fun. So that's the only like little clarification I want to put, that it's not just about HQ 30, because HQ 30 in an older state would be awful. That's kind of what, and I don't know if he's still in the chat, but that's effectively what Durgan did in 125, right? He joined you guys, unfortunately, when your guys' state was already established.
Down
But
the
he
road.
missed that early game kind of thing. So now he's in HQ like 15 with Plasma 5s in the state. So it's like completely going to throw you off. So Durgan's experience was unfortunately awful in 125. So it is, I think, about the state. And that's why, I don't know, I'm not going to lie. I have considered periodically. Luckily, I'm still having fun in 359. So I'm good there. But it has been a thought to kind of see what the new state is like. How the early gameplay is. How is the game different? Because we know there's different versions like we talked about. So there has been a thought to create like a new account in a lower state. And then I realized I barely have time for one. I don't have the time to keep up with the other. Like if this was like a year ago, I may have done it. The year ago is when I first started. But now with real life and all the other stuff I have going on now, which I didn't have a year ago, now it's a lot different. And like you're saying, Dali, it's just you don't have as much time without like COVID kind of keeping you indoors. Life changes and things happen. So you have to kind of be able to play this casually. And this is really hard to do competitively as a casual game. So, but you mentioned something interesting about Reservoir Raid. So this is the last thing to talk about. In their Discord, they have started kind of a new Brainstormers channel, which is where they're getting like feedback from players, and they're trying to see which ones players like, what they don't like. They're asking people to like thumbs up and thumbs down it to try and figure out whether there's things that they want, they don't want. And they have put out a list of some things that are on their radar to update. So I'm going to go over that list because they put it as kind of like a feature in their game information. So some of the things that they're looking at: updating the rewards for PZs, fortress fights, showdowns. They're all looking into changing the rewards for that based on feedback. So they are addressing the fact that your feedback is coming through. So this is nice. The next thing, the double chat issue is currently being worked on, which I think is a little bit more of a minor issue, but it's something to fix, right? It's fine. Then the next one, matching of SVS and Reservoir Raid are being reviewed and reworked as fast as possible. The team is trying to make sure there won't be any issues with it in the future. So they are looking into the matchups there, which is going to be nice. Although SVS, I have a hard time seeing how they're going to change anything because they've clumped us up into like these groups of like 6 states, right? So that is what it is, but it'll be interesting. The amounts in the trade caravan are being looked into for future plans as per feedback received. So this is the new feature that they put out, and they're already looking into it. So nice job on them. Next thing, heroes in map searches. This has been tested and canceled for now, but it might come back in the future. They need to bring that back. I think we talked about it. Becca was that way, and she wasn't a top hero, but provided that construction bonus, Becca would be a good choice to kind of throw into the searches and let players get her. The next thing, more ways to get plasma are in planning. So that is nice, given the fact that you have to use the plasma in order to convert it into the polymers, and gives opportunity for free-to-play to catch up a little bit. Right, this new conversion, actually, if they increase the plasma, they're still not going to get the polymer at a fast enough rate to really do anything, but it does help them catch up with their buildings and their research and all these other things. So it's a nice way to allow them to catch up. Eric B is asking, which showdown rewards are they changing? They just said showdown, so I'm assuming it's Alliance Showdown. I don't know which rewards they're changing. It might be that you get more points, or I don't know how it works.
Probably gold frags. How many gold frags you get? Because that's the biggest thing about Showdown, and why we try and stay in champion
or more things in the store.
The amount of gold frags.
The things in the store would be nice too.
That's the throwdown for the Champion League.
Oh, that's right.
Showdown they have their own little store, but nothing in the store is really worth anything.
Yeah, so they can update the store. Well, I grabbed the healing things. It's one of the few places you can just buy those healing speed ups. But yeah,
I've got 47,000 healing speed ups. So
may you never need them.
Right. I think I only use them in Res League, and I haven't played Reservoir Raid in like 6 months. So
yeah, I've been kind of
But
out of Reservoir too.
Showdown, I think you get, besides Master League, where you get the skin and everything, I think you might get some gold frags at the end of it, depending on how you did. But I think even if you win your individual round, you only get purple frags.
Yeah, it's not a lot, so it is nice that they're looking into changing that. And then Millsy saying, "I want Reservoir League back." Yeah, I think they will. That was actually it was a fun concept, I think, and it worked out well. If they're working on the Reservoir Raid matching first, then that makes sense, and then go back to the league concept because then they can build off that. But that would be
that's how you milk people, because there were people that just like had like old players that jumped to the new state and built the base from start to finish just to get in there. You know.
The next thing, skills of troops should now be working.
Huh.
So maybe that's based on the conversation we had about like the tier 10 and tier 11 and how the battles work. So that would be nice if they kind of work the way they're listed. The next one, increase of swap limits in events like the recycling center is being looked into but won't be coming out in the near future. So at least they're looking into it, because people have so much of that crap that they just need to get rid of. Just so much that they just need to get rid of. So it's nice that they're looking into it. And then the team is still working on the lagging issues and bugs with Azertane Heist before launching it again, and can't provide a new date of release at this time, which I am fine with. Don't release it bugged out like it was the first time.
Right.
And they didn't mention the matchups, but I hope the matchup is something that they're considering, because an HQ 26 and the same heist as a Plasma 5 is not going to do anything. Like you're barely going to even get the the outskirt ones, because that's probably where the Plasma 1s are hanging out. So so if they work on that, I think that would be pretty awesome. But that's what they're doing in the Discord. So they are trying to get more people into the Discord to participate in there. They're putting out more updates. They haven't done developer feedback in a couple of weeks, so hopefully they're going to bring back that, because I think that was nice. But they are doing other things in order to gain feedback, which I think is good. So moving in the right direction. Still some things to work on though, but I mean, otherwise it's been kind of a quiet week. It's been more just kind of little tidbits of news with the green or the red hero gear, the Becca stuff, getting this feedback. Hasn't really been a lot in the game. The only new thing they've had is that Finding Maddie event, which is just kind of one of their standard events, right? It has those like different stages and different things going on. It's fine. I don't really have anything negative to say about it. It's just one of their standard events. So, but is there? I think that's it. Is there anything else you guys wanted to discuss?
No, we hit a lot.
Yeah,
we hit a lot. I mean, especially for a stream that we were kind of going into and being like, "There's not really much going on,"
Yeah.
And we talked about a lot of the points, and I'm glad they're addressing or saying that they're addressing stuff, because there's stuff in the game that they need to address. Frankly, there's stuff that they need to kind of fix. And the last thing you want is people to be like, people to just kind of be like that and just be like, man, this is awful. I mean, and like I said, I still enjoy playing the game. I hop in, and whenever I see like my old running mates kind of in there, it's always nice to catch up with like just about anybody. But you can see the drift, where this game used to be 7 hours of your day, 4 hours of your day, 3 hours of your day. Now it's 20 minutes. It's like banging out my dailies. It's kind of, and we saw that with like Scorn and Silverwolf. Where they were just like, yeah, I just log in and do my dailies now and don't even pay attention to anything else. Unfortunately, that's just what I have time for right now. And banging stuff out like that, because there's really not much going on in game besides the events, which you can basically maximize your time and have all of it done in a half hour.
Well, and that's even different. Like what, 4 or 5 weeks ago when they dropped everything in Migo or Yithinus, and you're doing freaking supply drops. You're doing freaking the underground tasks. You're doing freaking all your dailies. You're doing the survival of the fittest. Then it's like, okay, We do not need 17 events in 1 week. And then we have 5 weeks of just twiddling our thumbs.
I'm not gonna lie, that like week burned me out so much in this game. And I have been like I've logged in. I even missed a day in between just because it's like that week was just so much stuff going on. And the Migo digs were just annoying with the fact that they were like every 3 hours you had to be on in order to do the digs and all of that. I'm like, why is this so stringent in its schedule? Like it went from me being able to log in about like 2 or 3 times, be able to do everything, get my gathering troops, do all of that. It went from that to me having to log in like every 3 hours and trying to fight for these digs, which take me about like 3 minutes per dig in order to like find the spot and then actually dig it. Like it's like 3 minutes for each one, and then I have to complete like 10 of them, or like even if it's like three of them, it's so slow, and it's not even on your own schedule. It burned me out so much that it's like right now I'm just trying to stay afloat. It's it. There's some days that I don't even finish all my dailies because it's like, why am I? It's just taking too long.
Right.
Yeah.
So
it's so slow. The dig idea is a cool idea, but it's like it should be so much more instantaneous than it is right now. And the fact that they kind of group you in when you just auto select it into an area where there's a lot of people. So a dig that you might find, you've now got to burn, stamina to kind of get rid of it and find another one. And it's like that process is probably one of the longest processes in the game.
Yeah.
And it's just like, and at one point I thought that they did that purely for the fact that like they wanted to test how much people could take, without the issue, like let's see how much like server activity we get when we put 1 billion events up at the same time. And I bet you they saw like a drastic decrease as opposed to the increase that they were looking for, Like they probably try to pump life back into the game in a lot of these places and completely went the other way to the point where it's just like, hey, I can't. I'm at my end. What am I doing this for?
Yeah, I mean there and Eric and Millsy are saying the same thing. Eric said Migo was almost my end, and Millsy said Migo and then Yith with the same problems. It makes you cringe. It's true. I think in one way they were smart because I think what they were trying to do was play on the competitive spirit that a lot of players have, right? And it is a competition that's driving a lot of people. Even for free to play, it's about trying to be like the best free to play to try and keep up even though you're behind. It's all like those little things, right? So the fact that they were trying to play on that I think was smart. I think they just went overboard with it. So I think from a concept perspective, they may have been in the right direction, but they just missed the mark. They went overboard with it to force us into timed things. And I think all their events, honestly, that have been their forced timer have been the most difficult for players to deal with. The Migo digs were in like those specific 3 hour or like those 2 hour blocks every like 3 hours. You had to be on in that time period or you just missed it. And potentially you could get onto a later one, but if you logged in and the dig wasn't going on, then you have to try and find like come back in like an hour or something. So it wasn't based on your schedule. Capital is one of the things that like burns out people the most because like especially in the US, you're waking up at like ungodly hours, and if you're one of the people that's being relied on, then you're just like, oh well, state, I'm gonna deal with family and sleep instead of playing a game. So yeah, you're out of luck. But that also sucks for the players, but they're like, I invested so much in this game, I just can't play for probably the most competitive event. So the lack of rotation for capital time, the lack of just free time to do the digs. Like the digs are just open. You do them when you log in, you find your stuff, you move on. Like that would have been so much better. Do it just like they do the ice cream mans and all those other things where there is that like refreshing count, but you just as soon as you have the item, you go searching for the dig. Have us pick up shovels. And for every shovel we can go for a dig. Like it's just it was too much.
They need to realize, like Delete said, a lot of us started playing this game COVID. I mean, it was nothing for me to spend 12, 13 hours on game on a capital day. Like, I was there from start to finish. Then all of a sudden stuff started rolling back, and it's like, okay, I mean, I get on, I get my points, and I get home. Now I have stuff to do. And if they're chasing that server productivity when people were stuck indoors with nothing to do except for play on their phones, it's not by sending a ton of freaking crap at them for them to get overloaded with.
Yeah. I mean,
I would love to see them do an event that was based off of like the amount of damage your alliance does over a 24-hour period. Like, I get 10 attacks, like sprinkled in with whatever strongest, either my strongest lineups or something along those lines, where it would just be like, hey, get your attacks in, everybody. Like the timer's almost up in 2 hours, where it's just a 24-hour period where you get on, you hit something, and it just goes, okay, all right, this is where you finished up. Almost like a reverse forward.
Well, no, it's the Kamute.
Yeah.
It's basically
with the
Kamute,
underground,
right?
with the shadow path.
Yeah,
it's basically. But the problem is Kamute is done over like 6 states, so you could it's so many people doing it.
But that would be a fun
you log in for 6
alliance.
hours, you come back and you're 3 floors down. You missed all
wiped out.
Oh yeah, they would have to change the concept. What I'm saying is that they have the general framework for that. Where if you have you make it so it's maybe that same group that you have in SVS, but you put them in just one giant map, right? And your point total, you can attack the little units for free with whatever that currency is, and then your points on the boss is what counts. So you just have everybody attacking the boss, and then you can do alliance points.
If your alliance had a Kamute town, that would be cool.
Yeah, see who does it the fastest or something like that. How many attacks it took.
See who completes the most. Yeah. Exactly. Because then it's back to like an alliance participation thing.
Yep.
It's supposed to, and everyone matters.
Yep.
Right. Replace the plague zones with it.
Oh, that would be cool.
Because plague zones, the allure for the plague zone was literally the fact that you get Maddie fragments.
Yep.
And now that almost everybody should have it. I mean, if I have Maddie maxed out as a free to play, everybody in 125 should have Maddie maxed out. I have no reason to do freaking plague zones because I get all my daily crates by doing other stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's I remember, I think I was still going for hero gear, and they do drop some hero gear, but I mean it's such a little amount. I think I did like 14 of them in a row by myself to like finish, the last I think I needed like 92 pieces or something like that, to get hero gear. But that's about it. Plague zones really don't offer any other things, at all. No value anymore. Just another scenario or another system that provides no value.
Yep. I'll add one other thing to the list that they put up here. This is something that, and I'll actually post it in there, is they need to make it so that the explorers can be autoed for anything where you have it easy, where you get that green text that is just like, you're going to walk over this, should be autoable. Just make it that simple. If you can get it to show up as walk over, you can auto it. I don't care how low it is. It doesn't matter. People would spend that like crazy right now. They need to give that to players like ASAP. That should be on their list of like things to correct quickly. I think that would be a huge.
I just did a throwdown mission, a 15 explorer missions for 200%, and I just did that, and it took me almost 33 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
to sit down and do all 15 of them. I was like, okay, by this time I've already missed the last refresh of missions, and of course I lost out on a 430 troop power mission when I've got all 3 buildings ready to collect because I'm waiting for a mission. But yet I couldn't collect it because I was still doing explorer missions. It's like, come on.
Yeah. That's a quality of life thing. Mm-hmm. We get it. You spent money on creating the animations, but you gotta give it up. You gotta give it up.
And they already modified it because when the Intel first came out, the blue explorer missions and the purple explorer missions, they had a boss, and you had to do the boss. And then I don't know what happened, but they got rid of the bosses on the blue and the purple, and they only have the boss you have to play on the gold intel missions. So I mean, they've already done a quality of life with Explorer missions, at least on intel missions.
Yeah.
Now you just need to do it with the rest.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, and yeah, Mills is saying in the long run there has to be some give and take. So yeah, as long as you make it so that it's the stuff that you can walk over, it's not like you're doing anything that's challenging. You're gonna have to, if you want to auto, you're gonna auto the lower stuff. But I don't think most people care.
It's not even, it's not uncommon in games like this to kind of make it, to have it that way.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually a very common thing, and that's also a reason why you would spend to make more things walk over, so you can auto it.
Mm-hmm.
Like you probably would do like a $20 purchase just to kind of increase your quality of life. Just to kind of go in and be like, oh yeah, let's see that. I'm like 2 general fragments away. Oh, I'll go ahead and break out those 16 digits.
So yeah, so I mean, they're doing stuff I think that's moving the game in the right direction. So I'm happy to see that. Hopefully they are taking the feedback and everything to heart and they're working on these is what it seems like. Top priority, however, get the state migration working in October. October is a big month. It is 2 months away basically from now that you have to have something available for players to look at.
And I would rather them not come out with anything new for the next 2 months and have state merger perfect than them bust out all this new stuff and then October comes and they botch it. And then I'm gonna be pissed that, hey, you spent all this time on this stuff we didn't really want, and now we have a subpar merger.
Agreed.
Seriously, without question. I would have them pause just about everything to go ahead and make sure that they had enough manpower to kind of get this right. Because if they institute it and it's wrong, it's going to be so bad.
Yeah,
it's going to be so bad.
Yeah. So, yeah, State of Survival at least moving in the right direction for now. We'll stay cautiously optimistic, but October we could be exploding, so we'll see. But yeah, any final words, guys?
Thanks for watching.
Yep. Yeah. So thank you guys so much for another fun Thursday Bunker Underground. Glad to have you all here. Please make sure you check us out again next week. We will be back again next week for another Bunker Underground. We'll cover whatever the news and notes are from the game during that week as well. But with that, for Delete, for Mako, for the Missing McVenom, I am Finn with Reality Skewed Gamers. Thank you guys so much for joining, and we will see you next week. Take care, guys.
Rock on, Alan.